Welcome back to a corporate time.
Liar!
So, some new information about the pilot that landed with no experience, that Cessna off the coast of Florida.
Well,
Some new information has come to light.
Yeah, well, it's a new
Everybody
information.
reported it wrong.
It's a massive deal because it's Savannah Guthrie, right? It's
Yeah, from the Today Show.
It's the Today Show. We've been on, I don't know if you guys know this.
No,
we have been on the
yes,
Today
yes.
Show because the greatest accomplishment we ever had was the death of Bob Saget. So now we're alumni of Today Show. So I feel like of anybody in this town, we are the show that can speak our truth, our core truth on what we feel like happened in this emergency landing of an unqualified pilot of a Cessna after an old man had a fart attack in the plane.
Oh.
We're the guys that can speak on this.
So he did an interview. So my whole
Big time interview.
My thing about last Friday's show on ACT when I was like, he didn't do an interview. So that, that's a tell. So he did the interview, but me and Sam listened to the whole interview and I'm still as skeptical as I was before because he was so broad with it. And
he doesn't seem like a man of many words.
Wait a
though.
minute. Do we not know
That's
something
fine.
that our listeners know? Because I'm monitoring the chat room, and I'm not trying to interrupt you at all.
yeah.
But people are saying, Tom is kind of vindicated in that the news was fake, but the event did happen, just the news was wrong. Do we not know the details on this? Did something else new come out?
Well, just the fact that they were saying that that the pilot leaned forward on the controls and made everything nosedive. That was a lie. He never leaned forward on the controls. And they were reporting that it was the pregnant wife that was the passenger, and that was not true either. Which makes it more grandiose, right? An old man falls over on controls and you nosedive, and then your pregnant wife's on there freaking out.
Well,
None of that happened.
Because they were pouring lye gasoline on top of it to make it a better story.
Now, the root of the story that I didn't believe is still
You do
holds
not believe
true.
that this guy had zero experience.
I don't believe that either. I don't believe that either.
So there's a couple things that happen.
I don't believe the entire story. I'm allowed to say that, right? Like this is something that I saw that I don't believe.
Well, okay.
I think there's more to it, and we are being led to believe that this man because the quote, God was on the plane that day, and that's the only explanation. I'm sorry, I don't buy that.
So, okay, here's where I'm wavering a little bit is obviously something happened to the pilot medically that...
He was unconscious.
Yeah, that caused
Why
him,
aren't they releasing that? For no other reason. I know it's his business, and you don't have to release it. It's like, one of my hemorrhoids burst. And I
I do think it's weird that nobody is even mentioning it.
No.
They're not saying, like...
Yeah.
No one's even asking the question. Like, it's unclear. And
he's getting
out of the hospital, but for what? Like, I don't know.
So
it's weird.
the fact that he's getting out of the hospital this soon, right? He said the date he's going to get out. So he's
I think it's either today or tomorrow. Yeah.
So he's in the hospital less than your husband was
with COVID.
With 2 years ago.
I didn't even think about that, but you're right.
So
he had a time.
So think about if you have something wrong with you that causes you to become unconscious, right? You would think that it would be more serious than a 3-day.
I don't know what it was.
Like again,
like if
diabetes,
it was a stroke.
A stroke, you'd be in the hospital for longer.
That's what I'm saying.
It's going to be a weekend visit.
Heart attack.
He had a really bad headache, and he was fuzzy-headed, and then he just passed out.
A really bad headache and fuzzy headache. I have that every morning because
you better watch out.
Yeah, I'm on that boost bar now.
Land on the controls.
So that's where I'm skeptical from the start of like what was medically wrong with the pilot.
I like
initially.
that you are using facts to determine that you don't agree with it. I'm just using my vibes.
So then, and I
get a bad vibe from it.
I don't want to take anything away from this guy if he actually
What
did
do you
it
mean?
or whatever.
What was the
He
matter?
did his interview in flip-flops just like you. He's just like you, Tom.
Take anything away from me, it doesn't even matter.
But the way I watched the whole interview, and it seems like he was being vague and blaming, like giving the credit all to God, and then that raises red flags to me because he's going about it as if
God was on that plane, not on Kobe's helicopter.
Yeah, the fact that he is not adding some of the details that I know, I'm maybe the exception because I would be explaining, I didn't know, I'd be adding more details. I don't know how to, descend the plane to take, to land, and they walked me through it, and all you had to do is they knocked it back. I would be going through some of the details and said, be like, it was a miracle that day. God was obviously co-pilot, and he a miracle. That. Anytime you say miracle and then start just saying this
generic.
is just
right,
I'm just like,
I want to call you a liar when you say that.
So then. Okay.
Either you don't know. When you say miracle, you either don't know or you're lying, I feel like. Because, people say that with kids. They're like, it was a miracle baby that he survived. And then they're like, well, okay, was it? What happened? And then the doctors will be like, well, we don't know. He just lived. That's not a miracle. That's just, we didn't know. And it just happened, right?
Yeah, but there is an explanation.
Can you manifest your own miracles?
It's not a miracle. There is an explanation of why it happened.
Doesn't it seem like there's
miracles are not real.
We had the fake story of old man hits the yoke and then it descends. So we had that.
Yep.
And that was a lie. We had
but that's just news.
I understand.
Sensationalizing
I understand, but follow me with
Yeah.
this, because we're all pretty much the same person, right? We're very much alike. Pregnant wife on the plane, that was a lie.
Yep.
So, everything else, is it possible that old man maybe wasn't feeling good and just sat there and said, yeah, I can walk you through landing this plane, and that's what they did, but this is a better story.
Well,
it's a possibility.
That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like to me that dude.
Well,
also, who was the other guy that was the passenger?
Yeah,
they're not telling us who that guy was but he had a headset on.
We also know that if you give more details and if you give more people, then your story's going to unravel.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
Let's talk to the other passenger. Let's see what he has to say.
So,
how scared was he? He had to be scared out of his
mind
he
too,
was
right?
calm.
He was calm too, Sam, because God was on the flight.
So
unbelievable.
If it's true that the pilot actually was rendered unconscious from some sort of ailment, right? So then let's go forward from that truth, okay? So let's just say that is true, and this guy then lands a plane using the instruction from the air traffic controller, like the story said, and that's what he said in the interview on the Today Show, right? So then now you have two truths to look at. One is, did this guy who had no idea how to fly just take the air traffic control's instruction and land the plane?
A, B, C, D, E, step by step.
Or is this guy exaggerating how much flight experience he actually has, and maybe he flies around a lot?
He does fly around a lot to the Bahamas on Cessnas, because you could hear the wife say, I usually track his flights, I know when he's going to land. He clearly goes to and from the Bahamas a lot, so he probably has watched them fly.
He's an enthusiast.
But also,
those planes are small.
And a lot of times pilots, like I said, at least this used to happen. I don't know if it does anymore. I would assume so. The pilots would let you fly around in the air.
What am I, on the monorail at Disney?
No, they would.
I can back Tom up. Even on commercial flights, there was a time when I went up to the front flight desk at Delta and I got pins. I'm wearing the hat.
Yeah.
I came back. I said, Mommy, I flew the plane. Some old lady passed out because she thought I actually flew the plane and got really upset. You know what I mean? That was a thing.
And so he had so much experience. He knew all the controls. He's been in the cockpit a bunch of times.
Also, I don't know if you guys noticed in the story, in the interview, he said once he got the headphones on that the pilot was wearing, he tracked the cords down and they were all frayed. And I was like, well, what?
No,
how'd that happen?
Hold on a second.
That could have been when they pulled them out.
You think they yanked the cords?
They yanked it out. I can understand how that would happen. It's
so then he had to go to the other passenger's headphones to figure it out. That was weird, right?
You're giving too many details is what you're doing. You're giving too many details.
That makes for a better movie, right? Where you're you pull it up, it's all frayed and split.
But it doesn't make for a better story, because I'm listening to you and I'm like, you didn't need to tell me about the frayed cords and how you had to get the other headset.
Well, that's why it was a miracle on top of a miracle.
You're lying. You're lying.
I asked
I don't believe
the
you.
BDM page to see if we could talk to a pilot, because I needed to ask a pilot what his or her opinion is. Because here
we have a lot in there. In fact, we have a lot of guys that are super knowledgeable that help me with my fear of flying. We have a lot of pilots.
I want to know, how likely is it if let's say I flew up with a pilot.
Dude, we could do this
in the same plane.
If you want to do
this. Well, you couldn't.
No, we can do this. We can get you in a plane, and then we can be with an instructor or somebody, and then have him talk you through it.
Well, we can't legally do that, but we could do a simulator.
We can do a simulator. We can illegally do it without anybody knowing, and then talk about it later.
Okay, we can do that. And I'd be willing to try. Because then it's Okay, because I want to
still
know how
stand
hard
behind
is it?
my comment that I will dress as the pregnant wife and be on the flight with you. I stand behind that.
I've been thinking all morning. I'm trying to figure out a comparison to another activity where someone could they had no idea what they were doing, be talked through something like
Defusing a bomb.
Okay, defusing a bomb, maybe.
It's very difficult. I've done that on VR.
No,
I hate that game.
But
it is so much stress.
Yeah, that game's not for anxiety, Danny.
No.
Well, I guess it's just if, like, you were saying, well, there's 3 wires here, you tell the person the color, and the person's like, well, cut this color. I mean, it was cutting wire. It's like, you know.
What if you're colorblind? What if you have to defuse a bomb and you're colorblind?
I'm trying to figure out how hard landing this kind of airplane is actually.
I've landed a Cessna of its size, taking classes from my Microsoft Flight Simulator, and they say that's
he knew general
close.
knowledge because he said, like, I knew once it nosedived, if I pulled up too fast, like, it would stall. Like, I wouldn't know that.
Here's another thing.
Or if like it's too hard, the wings could be compromised.
You landed on something that's just basic knowledge. I'm pretty good in here, right? This is my airplane, this studio. Like, I know my way around in here. If I reached over, put the headset on, I might get the headset on. I might think to do that. I'm trying to answer this honestly. But there's no way in hell that if I look down and the wires are frayed that I'd be like, give me the other headset immediately. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't know to do that.
Yeah, I would just be panicked.
I would start being sad and scared.
I want to know how much of it is just a walk through steps and how much of it is feel. Because
I think it was a little both.
Because the steps, like, you could.
I'm good at steps.
Daniel, if I sat down this computer and
can walk you through.
Told me to walk me through, like, go to file, go down. You know what I'm saying?
And the air traffic controller guy was an actual pilot instructor, so he knows how to really instruct people.
So then,
he's very engaging.
I think
he
it
put
was
some
just
jokes in there.
Right place, right time for that guy. Like, that guy was like on lunch break, and they called him in to like get this guy to land. It just all seemed very convenient.
Well, see, I only doubt the guy, the real man with sandals, and the way he's talking about miracles.
Good at
and
business.
God.
He wore his business polo on the news.
Yeah, he did.
Well, that makes me skeptical even more. Like in the fact that was this set up?
You think for publicity for his flooring company?
Or just to be the guy, like, could he? Like, let's say this
these
guy,
are God's floors.
Let's say.
Oh my gosh!
I'm setting up a scenario
right?
where this guy and his buddies fly around to the Bahamas all the time, and there's a lot of Daniel's family like flies back and forth to the Bahamas and stuff, and
I mean, if you spend a lot of time there, it's actually what you do, right? If you live in Florida and live in the Bahamas, you just have a plane or a helicopter, and that's what you do.
So in these flights back and forth, and like, could they have a conversation and be like, man, like, what if we, the pilot said he's having a problem, right?
He said that on the news. He said, I'd thought about this before. What happens if something happens to the pilot? And then the lady was like, oh, you've thought about it before? He's like, of course. I fly all the time.
It's been my dream to be an influencer.
So maybe he did have some prep prior to, but had never actually flown a plane.
Could they have set it up where
that's probably it,
the
right?
pilot, because if the pilot, they take the pilot to the hospital and he says, like, I fainted, I went unconscious, and they give him tests and everything, they let him, they give him fluids.
That's what happened to me when I had chest pain. I stayed there 3 days, and then they let me out and said, nothing's wrong with you spoke too much.
And then they let you go. I mean, so technically you were in the hospital for X amount of time, and there's no way, I guess, because of HIPAA, like, the news can't really find out your medical records.
No, the news can. They're just, for whatever reason, they're not, because they release people's stuff all the time. They're outing
Bob Saget,
people.
Every day we got an update on what happened to him.
And then if you're like getting reassignment surgery or something, they're like, you're a girl now, girl, gay, and they're always outing people left and right. You mean to tell me we can't find that this guy had a heart attack?
That's a criminal investigation. I think that HIPAA protects the regular people withot.
This is an investigation too.
Is it?
Yeah.
Are they? They investigating? They're not. They're investigating criminally, right? There's no.
Well, they don't know. They're just trying to figure out what happened. Maybe something nefarious did happen.
Yeah. But I don't think the news could release the pilot's medical information.
Well, not unless it is released, I guess, or they release it.
Yeah.
The chat room's getting a little dark in that, and I forget who said this, but somebody said, "What if this was all just a story to kind of sound, good and virtuous, when maybe you were in the Bahamas doing something nefarious?"
Well, I mean, why would you bring extra attention? I don't think it's anything
I don't
like
think
that.
you would do that. I agree.
I think it's some guys that said, hey, let's do this. I mean, because it would be a cool story, and then I can land it because I know kind of what, they walk me through, I can do it.
Christine in the chat says, I'm honestly shocked that Tom doesn't believe this. This is like his thing. He believes he can do anything, but a guy in short shorts and flip-flops is just flooring Tom.
No, Christine, he says he believes he can do anything. In his heart of hearts, he knows that on a BMX bike, if hit by a Ford Explorer, he cannot land the backflip. He knows that.
See,
but he'll say he can do it.
See,
which is more annoying, honestly.
I'm not even skeptical that the guy actually did it with the instruction and what he knows.
I just think he had more experience.
I'm thinking he had more experience, and I'm also thinking that they could have been set up to do this for real, but they faked the actual problem that they caused them to be forced to do it.
You think the pilot faked it?
Maybe
you're close to
that's a possibility that the pilot faked it, and then if the pilot didn't fake it, I think he's exaggerating his knowledge on flight. Either that, or it's easier than we all believe to land a plane. Right?
I'm close to what you're saying, but
because
I think
everybody's saying it's a miracle. Then that makes me seem like it is harder than this guy makes it seem. Right?
I'm close to what you're saying. I like that take, but I don't think they faked it. I think Old Man did have headache. I think Old Man did get dizzy, but I don't think Old Man was in I don't think he was unconscious. I think he's there, right? So follow me. And I think he said, "Oh man, I might have a problem." I mean, I say that to Andrea every morning. I'm like, "Oh God, something's happening." I think it's conceivable that he said, "Hey, you've done this enough," because they probably have, and he's like, "Hey, in case something happens, I can walk you through this. You just do this." So they're landing it. He's landing it himself. The guys in the back just kind of taking it easy, trying to relax, deep breathe, that kind of thing. He talks them through it. Then they land through the air traffic controller and everything, and they realize that this story is a better story this direction. And I think they leaned into it. And I think as we continue to talk about it, you'll start to see that they were leaning into it, because the story is now it's not as good a story now, right? Yeah, no pregnant wife.
Right.
The guy wasn't unconscious. We're finding out the truth. I think you lean in a little bit more, and you're going to find out that they embellished just a little bit.
Because it just, even in the guy's interview, and maybe I'm completely wrong, it just seems like
just your opinion.
He's being very broad, and I also, when you start including God and miracles and things, I'm like, well, I know that's not true. I know God didn't help you land this plane.
Right.
So then,
because he lets other planes crash.
So then it's either you knew more than you're letting on, or it's easier than we know.
Yeah,
and then
I can agree with that.
And then maybe 50% of people could probably get in a plane and land it if given instruction. Is that the case? It's like, do pilots not want to let us know that it's easier than we? You know what I'm saying?
So then they're not as valuable.
Because if someone, I couldn't just get on a piano and someone walk me through playing the piano. It's impossible.
I think it's also very different depending on the type of plane.
True. Yeah. No.
But it's a pretty big plane.
Okay. Like Chef Pat's waiting. He's going to be on with us next. But Chef Pat couldn't walk me through cooking
a potato pancake.
Oh, yeah.
I think those are deceivingly hard. All of that stuff,
well,
schnitzels and potato pancakes,
or maybe it could. Maybe I could walk you through. It wouldn't be as good as mine, and maybe it's
not going to look good because presentation is hard. It may taste okay,
and maybe the landing wasn't as good as we think it was. It was just like some other pilot would be like, "Oh, he came in way too fast."
I don't know. The video looked great. I looked at it. I'm like, "Oh, that's amazing! Look at that guy."
So I just want to find out the truth. Is it easier than I think it is to land a plane, or is this guy more experienced than he is? Or I will not accept miracle.
No, I mean,
I will accept it. Or did he fake the whole thing? Is this 100% legitimate? And it's just, like a pilot can say, yes, if I walked you through, you could land it, no problem. Because I saw my sister-in-law go through,
15,000 hours or something?
Her schooling to become a pilot.
Well, why didn't you just ask her?
Well, I have asked her.
She doesn't talk to us anymore.
And no, she lives down the street. I've asked her before about like how
You have a
difficult
direct
it is.
line. Why are you asking the BDM group?
And well, because I want to get a BDM. I want to start hounding him or her on the air, and I don't want to do that to my sister-in-law.
There
Plus,
it
I
is.
think
there it is. That's what he does to you listeners.
Plus, I'll be honest with you. She's a little more positive than we are, and I think she might say it's possible for him to do it. And I want to get a curmudgeon old pilot in here that'll say no way. I want an old man in here to say like he's a liar.
Because she had to practice a lot, especially on landings, and I remember her going through the testing and stuff like that.
Touch and go.
And then, there was a lot of information. But I guess, with the instructor instructing you step by step, maybe it is not that difficult. Like what other thing, like driving my boat, and like I feel like if
Cruise
Sam
ship. Do you think you could teach
well,
me
no,
how?
that's way harder. Like say even
You think cruise ships harder than landing a plane?
I
think
yes,
it
yes,
is.
Yeah?
And you can do more damage because, like, you get that thing going too fast, and then you're like a mile away. And you're trying to do whatever you can to stop it, and there's no stopping it. It's just going to keep powering through and destroying everything.
Now, maybe like
because
because
terrifying.
Jets and stuff, they have so like advanced computer systems.
I've been to that store before. Jets and stuff.
A lot of stuff is run by computer and autopilot and stuff like that. Like I believe, and like most passenger airlines, like there's basically a landing like
button.
An autopilot that lands
It's
the
a
plane.
series of events and things that you prepare. You do it in the game. You go through the checklist and you hit this, and then it'll get you close, and then you got to manually land it.
But I think something like that plane, there's still like you're flying it manually. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's feel involved, and you're decreasing altitude at a certain rate, but not too fast because you'll slam into the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's things like that I feel experience you need a little bit of to not slam your wheels into the ground hard or miss the
also
runway.
Just
or
the weather, just the weather. Like I've seen people that get on a jet ski for the first time and can't do that, let alone a plane.
Like I think if Sam got in my boat over at
here we
right
go.
behind
This is how it
Oasis,
starts.
we should do and then I think that with no, or maybe with me standing there next to you.
No. I'm in the back pretending to die. Sam's at the controls, and you're talking her through it on the phone.
You're my pregnant wife.
Because you have to be the air traffic controller. You have to be the guy with the knowledge to give her the knowledge to pull out of the ramp and get us down the river.
I'm gonna mess your boat up.
Yeah, I think you'd crash it.
Can't get any worse.
Because like
Is it even running right now?
Yeah, I just
is.
got it.
Good to go.
It was a stinger.
Brand new.
But I think you'd crash into a bunch of boats
think
at
I
the
would
marina,
too.
and you'd crash into a bunch of boats coming back in, and I'd be on the front like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like,
There's no way she could do it. And
you
I
wouldn't
believe
come
in
in. You wouldn't come
I've
into
never
the
driven a
slip.
boat.
Yeah. Like because you'd definitely go too fast, and then
It's
Overcorrect.
feeling.
Oh
You're
yeah.
right.
It would be not intuitive to you. Be like, no, the other way. God, you'd be crashing
Because
into
it's
I'm
not.
down to try.
You know why? Because it's not at all precise. Like a boat, a plane,
Oh, yeah.
a jet ski, they're all based on feeling, and you got to almost anticipate it, right?
Yeah.
There's some experience involved. I don't know. I gotta get into a flight simulator and see if I could just land a plane from some BDM telling me what to do.
You know what we could do? We could head over to the library because they got the best simulators in town. OCLS.info.
Do they have a flight simulator?
They do.
All right. If they got a flight simulator, then we got to do that. I know. Didn't we talk about someone had a flight simulator a long time ago?
I mean, I can bring the one here. We could do it right here.
Well,
it'll walk you through itself. It'll show you like what speed to go. What
you need the cockpit. Like you need the cockpit and the actual like all the buttons and things.
Yeah, I just got a screen.
Because with remote control, I feel like it's way easier to do it on a video game. So.
It is.
All right. Bye.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time.
Chef Pat's here. How you doing, Chef Pat?
What's going on, guys? Doing good.
Hollerbach's Willow Tree Cafe in Sanford. I don't know if you heard us talking about this pilot thing, but
Oh yeah, it freaks me out a little bit.
so what is the
You're
hardest?
not a flying guy like me?
No, I'm a flying guy. Just that whole situation. Like you guys were saying, unless you're trained, like that shit's not going well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It could go south fast.
So, what's the hardest thing that you would say culinary wise that you have to prepare?
Like on a consistent basis, or like
just like
one time,
like a novelty
hollandaise sauce.
Okay, holiday sauce.
Hollandaise sauce.
Hollandaise,
Hollandaise.
not holiday sauce.
Hilarious.
Holiday
Christ
house.
and a mic. Holiday sauce.
Holiday house's
What's
hollandaise
that,
sauce.
cranberry sauce?
Yeah, hollandaise sauce.
Oh, okay.
It's like hot mayonnaise.
All right, hot man.
He knows all about hot mayonnaise. That's
So
what they used to call him in college at UCF. They called him hot mayonnaise.
So if on the phone, if I went to Hollerbach, right? You got all the ingredients there, right?
Sure.
And you stayed here, and I go to Hollerbach.
Well,
Could
why
I?
couldn't why do you have to go that far away? Why couldn't you just go to my house? We can
Well,
do
you don't got
this.
the ingredients.
I got the ingredients for hot mayonnaise. Are you crazy?
No, you need special spices, right? You need something special, right? I have no idea.
It would be easier because everything is in one place and
Yeah.
it's all there.
So it's like that's like Chef Pat's cockpit. He knows where all the controls are,
the
all
hot
the
mayonnaise
spices.
cockpit with Chef Pat. I
That's
love
what
where
the
you're
sign
going.
over
This is
my
great.
office door
Put
says.
this under what not to do with clients again. I don't know what we're doing around here, but we are straight to hell
So I'm in the hot mayonnaise cockpit
with Pat, Chef Pat.
and I'm on the phone with you. Can you walk me through a hollandaise sauce? Like at the end, would it come out to basically what you do? Do you think that's possible?
Yeah, would I be able to tell the difference between Pat's hollandaise sauce or Tom's hollandaise sauce, or would it?
If you walk me through exactly
Yeah.
how you make it, and I just mimic what you're doing.
I'm confident that I could walk anybody through it, but there's still always user error because
A lot of
I've,
errors. Tom
Yes.
doesn't listen to any instructions.
I've had
by the
people
way.
that work for me have the picture, the recipe
Don't
book,
write
step
it
by
down
step
and don't
in
do
front of
pictures.
them.
He hates that. He likes to be told.
and
Right?
make it one way, and they'll make it, and it just like doesn't look anything like it's supposed to look, and they don't get it. So
Does it have
there's always
It has a
that.
light color to it, right? Like a yellowy.
Yeah, it's a yellow.
Yeah.
It's like a yellow sauce. Yeah.
So
Like, would you have known that? Be honest. Would
Huh?
you have known that hollandaise sauce has a light yellow to it?
Well, I know it's yellow. I've seen like
Now you're lying like that guy on the news. You're lying.
Right.
I see it on the eggs. The Benedict.
The Benedict. You're always a dick.
So, what I'm saying is, like, it could go wrong based on I don't have the experience and I'm like not whisking it enough, or like I'm trying to determine the difference between pure instruction and
You're not
feel
whisking it
and
enough.
experience, like comparing it to a pilot, right? Like how much
Yeah.
is feel and experience to a chef,
And you can break
pure
it, right?
instruction.
Can you break the sauce?
so easily.
Yeah.
You could break it. You
you know what
could
that means?
Scramble your eggs.
Yeah.
No, what does that mean?
You can break the sauce.
What?
It's where the fats and the solids would separate, so you'd have
Yeah.
like oil on top, and then all the rest would be on the bottom, and it wouldn't be an emulsified sauce.
And
How
basically
many
ruined
sauces
it.
have you made
Right.
in your life, Tom?
Zero.
Okay.
Never
You ever
made a
made a
sauce.
roux? You ever
so
made a
just like
roux?
the pilot, never flown before, never made any sauce before.
Yeah.
This is actually a pretty decent way to try to do this, I feel like, because making hollandaise sauce sounds about on par culinary to, I think, landing a
There's
plane.
lots of just little dumb steps that if you mess one of them
Yeah.
up, it's gonna go terribly wrong.
Can I tell you that I cook a lot and I love cooking? I've only made hollandaise sauce twice, and I broke it once.
But I
And the
think
other
just
part was
but you
bad.
doing that, I think I could walk you through it better than I can walk Tom through it.
Well, Daniel
make
knows
sense?
Attention to detail.
Well, he also he knows
I'm
how
a
to
step guy.
cook.
I like steps.
Right.
Give me all the steps. Why I like baseball. It's got steps. It's got an order, right?
See-
They say that. What's the batting order? I like that.
Okay, so
I like order.
now we're getting into figuring this out because Daniel wouldn't say he's a professional chef,
Hell
right?
no. I'm not
But-
even close to
But
that.
he's cooked before.
But
cook a lot.
way more experience than me,
Right.
right?
I cook all the time.
Almost so much so that Daniel's closer to Chef Pat than I'm closer to Daniel.
Yes.
Because I have no idea what I'm doing. I cook and never cook.
First thing you've said today, I wholeheartedly agree with.
So if a story came out where Daniel was
there was
stuck,
an emergency
Yeah.
hollandaise sauce situation.
Well, some people really like that for
Daniel-
their brunch, so okay, I'll go with it.
Chef
Daniel's
Pat,
in-
unconscious,
there we go. We're walking through.
sitting in the back of the kitchen.
So Daniel,
Saturday
drag him
morning
in the
Willow
cooler.
Tree.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
this all sounds like it's happened before.
Chef Pat goes unconscious, and then, or actually, Chef Pat's at home because Chef Pat needs to walk Daniel through this, and then
Yeah, he called out sick. Okay.
yeah, and he has to
never
walk
calls out sick.
Daniel through the hollandaise sauce, and Daniel does it, and people are like, "Wow, this is pretty amazing!" But he has way more experience. Like he knows he's made sauces before, so
But
he
I-
has a feel to it.
But I am different than this man because right now, as you guys are setting up this fake thing that's not even happening, I'm getting anxiety right now thinking about making a fake hollandaise
But
sauce.
walk Tom through making white asparagus soup over Zoom.
Okay,
Did you
yeah,
see
exactly.
that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It would be so difficult.
And now I'm like, because I'm like, why did this guy not even bother to dress like? And I know this is coming from me, but if they get
Don't
me
you
on,
dare.
no, hold on, if they get me on the Today
Your balls
Show,
came out on Inside Edition.
I didn't know.
They were outside edition.
If they gave me like Inside Edition gave me one day to prepare, I probably would have wore pants and shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like, but we didn't even know they were just
I
like
do
do
it
it now.
probably.
Yeah.
You know,
If they gave me a
Because they
day,
can't guarantee us.
Yeah,
that he
no.
would.
But I also have no
Every
respect
time
for
you've
them.
ever been on the news, you've been in flip flops.
Yeah. No, because
No,
it's
no.
about being.
Oh, he did start changing.
Yeah, he did
towards the
start
end.
wearing. But you know what he wears? He wears brand new, bright white Chuck Taylors, and I'm like, people know when they see that. They're like, he's an R word.
But it's also
know it.
we're there to promote some beer fest or couch racing or you know what I'm saying, it's not like serious like this pilot almost died and I had to land a plane, like I put some shoes on for that. Like they're talking to me about something serious, not a beer fest. Like I almost feel like I should just wear sandals when we go on the news because that's what I do
you
every
wear
day.
sandals to a beer fest.
Yeah. But anyway, so now
Well, this guy landed the plane barefoot, so this tracks.
Yeah. But
Why was he barefoot? They put that in there?
Yeah.
Because he had sandals. He's a
He was
regular
coming back from the
Florida.
Bahamas. He was just chilling.
He has the.
You know what?
the-
I would not be barefoot in a plane. What if I cut my foot on the one of the seats or something, right?
No, these guys don't care.
He had
Like,
his
they're
feet kicked
fishing.
up on the chair in front of him.
So
This
I
is
wonder
fake, man.
if today's
I don't
show.
believe a lick of this.
If the Today Show asked him to dress down because that's part
Just
of
down?
their,
Yeah.
because it may be part of their whole story.
He's
like,
just a regular guy.
Yeah. So, because the
For
news,
sure, because they got B-roll and everything of him standing next to the plane with his wife. It's like, why? We don't need
B-roll's
this.
the worst. You guys know that.
yeah, and the damn news plays into me being skeptical of all this because they're so like they
Yeah.
just weave a story and then I'm like, well, that doesn't seem like reality. It's not because they want to tell a better, drama.
God was on that plane that day.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the only
Anyway.
explanation.
All right,
That's a
Chef
quote.
Matt. So what's going on with Hollerbach? What do we got? We're going into the summer. It's hot.
Yeah, it's
It's hot
no,
outside.
it's not even hot yet. It's beautiful. It's been beautiful beer garden
Yes,
weather all
yeah.
weekend. We've got Mayfest going on right now. So
Okay.
we have white asparagus soup right now for the next 2 weekends.
All right.
Only on the weekends. I would have brought some today, but we sold out on Sunday, so there was none to bring.
Nice.
We have the German dancers on Saturdays. They bring their maypole and they do like the traditional weaving of the ribbons with the maypole.
That's cool.
At like 4:30, 5 o'clock on Saturdays, they do that.
It's about to be what's that holiday they celebrate in Sweden all the time with the maypole and all that. Summer
Midsummer?
solstice, midsummer, right?
Midsummer.
Right.
When does that
Midsummer.
happen? That's coming up soon, right?
Yeah, I would
That's
guess
where you
so.
wear
In
a
June?
You wear a flower crown, and then you go
June 24th
You
it
go
starts
sit
this year.
inside
Summer
some
solstice.
sort of wicker room, and then they burn you alive.
Oh, you're talking about the
Midsummer.
movie?
Yeah. Oh man.
I feel like
What was that about?
I feel like we had no idea. Like Americans got introduced to Midsummer through
that movie.
a horror movie,
I'm
and
like,
now
this is-
it's just stuck in people's minds
Yeah.
that it's some sort of
Weird orgy.
Yeah. When it literally is the.
They're like, have some elderberry wine, and I'm like, all right, and we'll burn you alive. I'm like, what?
It's like our Krampus night.
it's just dancing in a field of flowers in reality, but now it's a horror movie.
You know, one of the best times I ever had at your house, your wife threw a midsummer party and made all the crazy cocktails. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I had a great time.
Elderberry and all that.
It was delicious.
So is a lot of that represented in like the cuisine at Hollerbach and stuff, or like some of it mixed in?
So we threw on a few white asparagus specials for the month, and yeah, like I said, soup's just on the weekends because it's labor intensive and it's fairly costly to make.
Like
just-
almond milk.
Exactly, it's hard to squeeze them. They're tiny.
Yeah, you don't get a lot out of that, man. Now they got extra creamy almond milk. Have you seen that?
Yeah,
Extra.
yeah.
I don't even know what is that. What do
Now
they-
enhanced with cashews.
What do they do? They're whipping it up, man. They're whipping that milk.
The when you told me and explained how they make white asparagus last
Right.
year, it was almost unbelievable. Like I was like, no, it's buried. Like
Yeah.
every stalk is buried. And
Giant mounds and
Yeah,
giant
yeah.
mounds.
Yeah.
First, you got to dig to it.
And then you look it up, and it's insane. That's why it's so rare, and that's
Right.
why everybody wants it, right?
Right.
I
The
think-
Germans are loving it right now. We can't keep it in stock at the market, and like it's been quite fun trying to keep it in stock.
and
That's his way of saying it's really hard. I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like there was
Yeah.
a tinge
We're
of sarcasm.
doing
there.
our best.
Yeah, I was like, help me.
And then when they hear there's a shortage, they're running by the whole.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're not angry. They're just German, right?
Well, a lot of people don't know this, but you can substitute baby formula for white asparagus soup, and babies won't know the difference if you're out of that.
Let's talk knives, Pat. Because Daniel, for years, you've told me to invest into better knives.
Good kitchen knives, yeah. It's for safety.
And
so you don't cut your hand off.
And for years, I just don't pay attention to what Daniel says, and then just go along with my life doing the same thing and cutting with dull knives, and then like in my head screaming, "Why am I living like this?"
Yeah,
or just get a quality, super sharp knife.
Yeah.
Like it would be so much better.
Start with one and get it like so you can use it for a lot of good carving, and it'll be good to go.
So, what knives do you use, Pat?
Oh my gosh! So I'm gonna sound bougie. I have custom knives.
Well, I mean,
We have a guest that we have a guest that is amateur. What are they called? Forgeman, sort of knife maker. What are they called? Something like that. But he made me a custom chef's knife, and then I inherited my dad's knives that are from like the 40s and 50s. He was a butcher back in the day.
Oh,
so I have some like super old Chicago cutlery, the sitars or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
And
you got a Chicago sitar.
Look that up. And then I've got some like old field knives that were probably made out of like railroad ties or like an old file or something, but they were just custom made. That he put a better finish on, put new like nice wood handles and made them nice. But I use those knives. But one of my chefs in culinary school, his technique was get a sharp knife, throw it away when it's dull. He's like, you're gonna waste your time spending $200-$400 on a knife. He's like, I just buy a knife, put an edge on it. He's like, when I can't put an edge on it anymore, I throw it away.
Well, does it just whittle itself down?
No, so you got to take a stone and, grind it back down and keep it true every time. I rarely have to sharpen my knives because I true them every time I use them with the steel. That doesn't sharpen it. It just
straightens it.
It straightens the teeth back out kind of so it makes it a sharp cut every time.
Yeah, your wife, when she does that, she can do it real fast and fancy, and I can't do that. I have to do it like an old man.
We need those trucks like in Miami that drive around.
So some of the farmers markets have a knife sharpening guy. I think his name might be the knife sharpening guy. And there is a truck service that will go around like it's bi-weekly.
But it's only for Spanish people. I learned that on this show. That like Latin people take more pride in their cutlery. So in in a predominantly Latin neighborhood, you'll have like a knifeman come driving by and he's playing
like
some
ice cream
song.
Truck. Yeah,
he's playing like a knife song.
Yeah. And then you run out with your knives and you give it to them.
Kick out!
But I've got German knives. I've got French knives as well. I've got some Wusthoffs.
Wusthoff.
I still have my knives from culinary school. Like I said, I've kept them in very good shape and I keep them sharp. So
I'm a Henkel man myself.
Henkels are nice too.
Do you have the magnet that you just stick your knives to the wall? That's what everybody does. Right?
But there's so many knives. It's like terrifying. They just fall off if you try to get a piece of bread out of the
I
bread
don't
basket.
like the magnet for knives. That's scary to me. I'm like, put some wood on that thing, man. You don't need that thing exposed.
And now are other people allowed to use your knives?
No.
Okay. So if they use it,
it's like a drum set.
Okay.
Don't be playing with drum set. That's
don't
my
touch
drum
my
set.
sticks.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay. So
that's my kit.
Like if I'm in the kitchen, I'm working there. This thing doesn't work out. I'm just
BYOK, man.
We have
bring your
house
own.
knives, but the professionals bring their own.
Gotcha.
It's like headphones, right?
Yeah, and then you got like a leather bag, and you carry it in, and you lay it down, and you unroll it.
Yeah. My knife roll is heavy when it rolls out. It's like
yeah, so is mine. No, it's not. Mine just my little knife
the
roll.
cleaver's at the very end, so it thuds hard.
Mine's an elevator button.
Mine's retractable, like a policeman's asp.
And then what? Like besides knives, like
there's forks and spoons.
No, like the pans and stuff. Are those specific to you and nobody else allowed to use them? Or are they house pans?
So at home or at work?
Work we
just have house stuff there. I do have a set just for when I was doing YouTube videos. That's like a nice stainless steel bottom. No one's allowed to touch those. But same at home. Like I don't let my wife touch my pots and pans because she's gonna mess them up.
Yeah.
And you got all stainless?
I've got stainless with the copper bottom, and then I have Southern Living actually, but nonstick. It took me 2 years to find a nonstick.
It's hard
set
to
I
find
wanted.
a good one, yeah.
But it was at like one of the mall big stores where they have the home section. One day I'm like, oh, these are the ones I want. Took a picture of it, and like that's what I got for like Father's Day or for Christmas or something that year.
Yeah, finding good nonstick because I have like all clad stuff because I use my chef buddy Juan. I scan the system by using his culinary discount to get a starter set of all clad because all clad's just way too expensive. But I've had them for like maybe 5 years now, and they're awesome. You know, they get a little beat up, but then all you got to do is scrub them all up.
My stainless pans are 14 years old at home, and they're spotless. Like you just got to wash them every time.
Yeah, that's it. You know, you can't really ruin them. Buying good stainless all-clad pans.
I've gotten more fights about my knives and my pots and pans than just about anything else about dishwashing wise. It
took a while for Andrea to get on board, but since we've cooked so much with them, she now sees that like we haven't had to buy a pan in 5 years. Like I haven't had to replace one. I haven't had to get anything. We've been doing nothing but just cooking in them.
What about like the the seasoning of like either grill
like
tops or cast iron? Because I see these TikTok videos and like some cast iron guy is like, oh, everything you know about cast iron is a myth. You can wash them with with dish soap, and I wash mine. And then so I'm like, all right, well, I was always told you're not supposed to wash your cast iron, pan or whatever, a pot, because you have to, you wash the seasoning off of there, and like, I don't know.
I don't know
what the hell is it.
I don't know either because like I think my knowledge of cast iron pans has been sort of clouded by so many different people giving me different knowledge. You got some people that say you gotta like oil it up and then bake it in the oven at 500 upside down for like an hour and then pull it and then wipe it down and it's ready to go. You got some people say you can only use grapeseed oil. You can't use, canola or like, and then you got some people that say, no, you got to use canola. And then it's all.
Never wash it.
What would you say? Because
beef fat.
I honestly don't know. Because I've been told so many different things from so many different people, and I use my cast iron. I just try to baby it. I just try to be delicate with it. I put a little water in there and wipe it clean. That's all I do.
So if it's already like good to go, if you're using it on a constant basis, like I've got one that I only fry eggs in. It's a tiny little 4-inch cast iron, and I wash it out every time, like just to get the schmutz out because I don't like to cook in a dirty pan. Then I just take a paper towel with a little bit of oil and re-wipe it down so it's got a nice little oil seal and it doesn't get rusty. If you've got something like if you're frying chicken or pork chops and you get the stuff caked in there, scrape it out as much as possible. If it's gross, like if you put gravy and stuff in it, you got to wash it out. But then just the 500 degrees in an oven with oil to make sure it gets nice and coated and sealed again after it's dry, because it will rust then.
So let's end with baking. Because
luckily, I don't think you have to worry about this much because I don't think you use cast iron. Well, you can use it for anything, but I don't think traditionally you're going to use it for a ton of vegetables. And mostly in your house, you're cooking veggies. So I think you're good to go, man.
Yeah. And also, I'm not good enough for any of this. I'm just I can't follow instruction. I can't keep anything nice. None of this is for me.
Okay.
This is how I have to live my life.
You convinced me I'm out now.
I can't experience some things that you guys can experience, and that's it.
I just took it off my own menu. I took it off the plate.
I have a disability. Some people can't water ski.
That's a thing.
You live with the cards you're dealt. Anyway, so baking. What's the hardest, like, the whole upside down cake thing, and it used to be a lot of like in the 70s, women cooking upside down cakes.
Like a pineapple upside down cake?
And then when deflated, and they're like, oh, there was the joke about soufflés being deflated, and
Well, it would always be in the cartoons. I think we're referencing the same cartoons. In the cartoons, there'd always be the grandma making a souffle, and Tom and Jerry would make so much noise that it would be loud and deflate the souffle. Is that a thing?
That's a thing.
Noise can deflate a souffle?
Well, they deflate pretty fast anyways. They don't always keep, because it's heat that makes steam that makes it puff.
Yeah.
So as soon as it cools down, it's going to start to shrink. But that's why most nice restaurants that have souffle, you got to order it like in mid-meal, you can't wait because it takes 30, 45 minutes sometimes. So, yeah, and you can't bang the ovens around it. You can't, it is a deli. It's whipped egg whites, but with other stuff in it. But it's really sensitive to air pressure and temperature and time and stuff like that.
So
Not worth it.
yeah.
I agree.
Just give me a cake.
Yeah.
Give me a good old fag. I want something I can bang a pot around.
So is there anything like that you still have to do, or like cakes or baking? Baking seems complicated. It seems like a complicated chemistry to get
Bread
right.
I'm so bad at
Bread,
bread.
yeah,
I try to
all
bake
that.
bread. I try to bake like muffins, or I try to bake
Sure.
like a. I think I tried to do the Cuban bread, the sweet bread. Like Cuban sweet bread, like a medianoche.
Medianoche bread, yeah.
And I can't. I came out like a ginormous 35-pound football. It was so dense and gross.
Yeah.
It was just too dense. There was no fluff to it.
Maybe overworked.
Yeah, it was just gross.
I feel like you need some sort of special equipment. For
Yeah,
that.
I'm not a baker by choice. I learned in culinary school, and I can execute everything at the restaurant, and I can do stuff if I need to. But thank God I have bakers and a good team over there that I don't have to bake the bread. I don't have croissants.
That's a whole different world, right?
Croissants would be so hard.
Making sure they're proofed right, because if not, then luckily we make croissant bread pudding, so if they do overproof or overbake, smoosh them up a little bit.
That's a good idea.
Ah.
Oh, yeah.
How much of that stuff is it where you have a backup plan, kind of like a magician? There's always a multiple outs, so if the trick isn't going right, you can go to
I
other.
meant to deflate this souffle.
Yeah, you can go to other, or then you just fold the souffle into some sort of souffle cake that's a secondary use.
Some
for it.
stuff is just ruined if it doesn't turn out right. Like, say, apple strudel. Like, if you make your dough too thin, when it starts to bake and shrink, if it splits, you're just all those apples in that dough and all that time is just out the window now, because you just got a mushy pile of wet dough and apples.
And you can't do anything with it. You can't stuff it into an apple pie. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you
it's
could go outside, throw it at the birds.
Yeah, I mean, you could do stuff with it, I guess, but it's kind of not good.
Breaking news from Canada in our chat room. Canadian Josh says, I am the king of baking focaccia bread.
I just brought that up yesterday to my husband. That's so weird.
I don't
What
believe
is
that.
that?
Focaccia bread is just salty bread with herbs on it, right?
It's smooshed pizza dough. You got to poke your fingers in it and make
You
the
gotta
holes.
put roasted peppers in that.
It's
thing.
always got
And
like some
onions.
sort of a rosemary or an oil
Yeah.
on it or something, and I
Do
taste
the
it.
focaccia art with the tomato roses
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the carrots.
Yeah.
And flip it
They
upside
sell
down.
kits like that now. I've never made it, but I love to eat
You
it.
like a focaccia?
Yeah.
You like a focaccia?
I don't even know what that is.
He just explained it.
No, but I've never.
like a-
So I don't think he.
It's
has
like
ever had
Carrabba's
it.
bread.
Yeah, it's the Carrabba's bread.
I haven't been to a Carrabba's in maybe 10 years. I don't even know. Maybe I may have never
You know
been to
what's
a
funny?
Carrabba's.
I don't know how to describe focaccia bread. It's like light and airy bread that's like kind of like pizza dough.
It's
like a
floofier.
breadstick.
It's foofy and it's got holes in it and normally some salt and herbs like kind of rattled in it.
Yeah.
Is it like a Quiznos breadstick? Like, you
It
gotta get-
looks more like a flatbread
Yeah.
pizza.
It looks like a pizza that somebody forgot all the toppings.
okay.
That's what it looks like.
It's more like crazy bread before it got cut.
Nah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I get it.
Crazy bread, no fight.
So, Pat, what's the most popular thing at the market right now that people are trying to get? It's still the white asparagus. Can you?
Yeah, right now white asparagus.
Can you actually buy just bushels of that? Or
No, I don't know about a bushel. That's like 70-something pounds, but
I thought that was a little
you could get
the
one
wad.
bunch.
Yeah.
you could get a wad of white asparagus.
Do they put a
Is it
rubber
called
band?
a wad?
It's a bunch, I think.
Do they put a rubber band around it?
Yeah, they still have rubber bands.
The
around it.
jumbo rubber bands?
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
as a kid, there was nothing better than my dad would come home with one of those broccoli rubber bands.
That's your money band, bro.
Yeah, I was like, that's awesome. I put it in my rubber band gun. Awesome.
Chef Pat is great having you in.
Thank you, guys.
Oh,
I
but
appreciate it, man.
When they ship that white asparagus, do
Yeah.
they ship it fresh or frozen or whatever?
It
Like-
comes on ice right to customs, and somebody has to pick it up at customs, and
Gotcha.
That sounds like
Bring
a
it up.
giant pain in the butt.
yeah,
it's a fact.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
But we
why,
love it.
Yeah, that's why you guys should go and when you order that, you should tip the staff accordingly for such a rare and delicious treat.
You think I can grow one in my backyard?
What are you talking about?
One of a white asparagus.
One of the girls at work is going to try to grow asparagus and white asparagus because sandy soil is good for it. So she's going to experiment. And
What
will
if you
keep
became the white
posted.
asparagus king of Orlando?
Well, I don't have. I need a field.
Selling it on the black market.
Yeah, white asparagus, black market.
Does it take like years to mature to?
It's like 2 or 3 years or
Hey,
something. like that,
what?
yeah.
You got time?
3 years?
You got nothing but time.
Hey, you set it and forget it.
Yeah, you just put it in there,
No.
cover it up, and let the sun not get it.
Yeah, but you got to tend to it. You got to irrigate
How do you
it.
tend to
You
it?
tend to all your plants, though.
No,
If I knew,
You're
I'd
the
probably be
plant
doing it.
Yeah,
Dan.
I know. You
They
need
all
all
got
you
mold.
can get.
Secrets there.
Yeah.
Well, when you go to Hollerbach's, ask for Chef Patty's. Usually
Say what's
there.
up.
Chef Patty.
I love it.
Yeah, that's what I call him. That's my,
Oh, I did not know.
And
Hi, it's me, Chef Patty.
we've got new Hollerbach pins.
Yeah, ask for one for sure.
and-
Soccer balls. I still got a few gummy bears left.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
Had a good. Had whoever was staying at the Air
Airbnb,
T&D
yeah.
this past weekend was in
Oh, cool.
nice.
with another BDM giving them a tour actually of Sanford. They had a good day from what it seemed.
Oh, that's dope. Oh, they were loose, I bet.
No, they were medium when
Yeah,
they saw me.
you gotta
Oh.
look. If you're going to Sanford, you gotta get medium.
Yeah.
You gotta at least get
extra medium.
Yeah, it's not fun if you don't. Well, it
Yeah.
is fun, but it's just more fun if you're medium.
You can get loose if you stay at the T&D. So.
For sure, for sure.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with more corporate time.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. Let's do your voicemails and your emails. And emails are the easiest. Show at tomandan.com. That's the email address. If you want to leave us a voicemail, two options. 1-844-TOMNDAN. You can call that number, talk into your phone. You know how that works. Or you can hit the button on our Mediocre app. It's called Mediocre Messages. Hold down the button. You got to hold it down. Speak into your phone, and you'll sound something like this person right here.
Hey guys, I enjoy when Ross is on, don't get me wrong, but I enjoy when Seth is on more. When Ross is on, you guys talk about checkout, grocery stores, and trundle beds. When Seth's on, you guys talk about boats and hoes,
Boats and
anxiety fits, and just a plethora of crazy ass stories. You guys aren't old, you're young-ish. Let's
Thank
not hit
you.
that old man button
Thank you.
too soon. Love you guys.
Boats and hose.
Prefera,
Let's
man.
go back to
Hit
it.
that Prefera.
Seth is on the show this Friday. He had COVID, so
I like to
yeah,
get a little bit of everything. I played trivia with Ross on Saturday night, and boy, did we do bad. I did not help out. I am not good at the
I
trivia.
mean, you're two men in your 40s. You're not exactly young.
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I also agree with this guy that we're not old. I mean, I don't think we're
And
old.
The
I
Seth
mean,
middle
is,
age.
Seth is around the same age as you guys, but he lives a different lifestyle because he's not married with kids.
right.
yeah, his lifestyle is him
Boats
terrified.
and hoes.
No, I would say just him terrified
Yeah.
at home that he has cancer.
You know what?
Like,
I mean, 2 months ago, I would
Ross
have
is-
given you that, Sam, but not right now.
Ross lives a more young lifestyle than Seth.
He parties.
Yeah, Ross is out at the
Partying.
comedy clubs.
That's true.
Yeah,
You know,
they
but-
left me at Bullenbush. Like, they were on to the next bar. I was the one waiting for my wife to pick me up. You
Seth-
see what I'm saying?
Seth
Yeah.
doesn't drink alcohol because he's ripped. He can't have alcohol in his diet. Like once a month, he may go crazy and have a couple shots.
Also,
you know what I'm saying? Like this guy is a clean eating crazy.
Also, I talked to him about it, and he stopped sort of kind of the reason that I did. It's like an anxiety thing. You know, it's not like alcohol helps anxiety. It doesn't. And if you battle hypochondria, if you battle anxiety, alcohol probably not your best friend. It can help for a while. But
yeah.
Ross parties. Sir, your logic, I understand what you're trying to say, but it's flawed.
Yeah. Well,
flawed.
I saw that some people were out at the Oasis pool party
Yeah.
this weekend. Of
Some
course,
people,
Cactus
according to
Steve
my
are-
feed, everybody was out there. And Cactus Steve, man, he is
Yeah.
paparazzi.
So I just, as much as I want to be involved.
Oh, here it comes.
With
He's
the
this is
bikini
him.
party.
He's bowing out.
No, but like, who's going out? Like
Me
even
and Sam had already committed.
even the BDM that went out there, it was like I had to take off when Busey showed
That
up
was
with the
one.
bikini.
He
But
didn't have-
everybody else seemed to be having a good time.
He didn't. That
I
guy.
thought it was just Cactus Steve, and that was
No,
it.
there was like five
There was like
BDMs
5
out
or
there.
6 people out there on the feed. I saw.
Did they have a good? I mean, did they?
How can you not
what'd
have a
they
good
say?
time?
Well, I mean,
They said it was a spectacle.
Yeah,
That
right.
could be good or bad. I don't know.
yeah,
I
what was
think
it?
it's good. I think it's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
good thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's about like who do you know that's still quote unquote partying?
Cadillac Pat.
Apparently Seth, right?
Seth, Cadillac Pat.
Cadillac
Seth
Pat.
doesn't
Ross.
party. Ross doesn't party. I don't know anybody. I was with my friends over the weekend. None of them party. You know what I'm saying?
I party.
Oh
You're-
man, you don't.
You go to roller skate
You
rinks.
roller skate with your husband. Is that a party?
With Bustecker. Bustecker's
Yeah,
not partying.
he's a nerd.
Yeah. I don't even know. Again,
Now,
I
if
don't
you
know
roller
what
skated
partying
with
it really
Brendan
is.
and you guys were drunk,
Brendan O'Connor parties.
Then I would give you
Edith's
that.
party.
I would give you that.
Yeah. Brendan
I go out to
O'Connor.
bars and drink and go to concerts.
That
and
counts.
I do all that
That
stuff.
can't,
Yeah,
you
but
don't
how
sound
wild
you
are
don't
you
sound as
getting?
into it though. You don't sound as into it.
You know what this? I'm getting wild again. You just wait for
No,
it.
you're not. No,
I'm
you're
doing
not.
it.
I
I'm
think
gonna do it.
everybody
Let's party, bro.
I think everybody here
doing it.
wants to think that they party, but I don't think anybody in this room parties. Nobody here parties.
I can party again for a little bit. I can do
For a
it.
little
You're as
bit.
good once as you were.
How much party you got left in there?
I got a little bit.
Now, if given the party, the person closest to partying in this room would be Sam, followed by me, then you.
no,
You're lowest on the party chain. You know that. She goes out to concerts and parties. I mean, I'm still not going to give her full party because I don't think she's turning it back. She ain't like doing flips. She's not throwing up every night. That's partying. Then it would be me. I still go places. And then it would be you. You do nothing.
I go places, but it's all family stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
that doesn't
That
count.
doesn't count.
You know.
You got to go somewhere without your family. You got to go somewhere without your wife. You got to go somewhere where
I stayed up till 4 a.m. on Saturday.
I
Oh,
did
yeah,
3:30.
that's
All
good,
right,
that's good.
we party.
Yeah,
We're
well, you
partying.
stayed up because of crippling anxiety.
Well, it was no, the app was broken,
I
and
was
I
drunk.
the app was broken, and
Yeah.
I got in from having a good time, and I figured I had to fix something, and I freaked out.
yeah.
And I
Crippling
laid in
anxiety.
bed on my, but still I'm partying. I'm up.
Oh,
I'm
wait
up.
a minute. They're telling me.
That's working.
Oh God, I see.
They
I
told
don't,
me to hit the old man
no,
button.
I can't go on.
We're trying
them.
to see who parties the most. We're trying to
Well,
prove that we're partiers
we're-
still.
no,
That is kind of dumb.
Look, I got
not-
nothing to prove. I know I don't party, but
I'm saying I don't think anybody does. I don't think our chat room.
Cactus Steve parties?
he just stands around and takes creepy photos. I think. I don't know if he's partying.
Yeah, he needs to be in the photos.
Plus, didn't he tell us last time
Yeah,
he came
after-
in here? Didn't he say he quit drinking because he had liver failure? Now
He
I see
did,
him
but-
double fisting everything.
No, he's still, yeah. He
Oh,
was
he's back at it. You
He's
know what?
He's back
Yeah,
at parties.
So wait, did his liver repair itself like overnight?
he has to limit his drinking, but I don't know what his
is
limit
double
is.
fisting limited? I mean, I don't want to tell you how to live your life, but every photo is
That's
like,
partying.
Yeah, that guy partying. You know what? I stand corrected.
Yeah, you're
That's
partying
the guy.
to death. That's a real party. Anyway, sorry.
Let's try.
Andrea in the chat says that she parties more than Tom.
That is completely untrue.
Wow.
Because
Well,
I'll
I mean,
get.
I don't know how to.
I mean, this weekend I was effed up. Like, no, Andrea wasn't.
Yeah, but that's just because you had friends that come into town
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
got
I was
all the
walking
same
there.
stories and you got to drink to tell the same stories.
I got some news stories on the BDM show.
News story.
I wanted to ask you guys about this. This is completely unrelated. So,
She did go out with me and Maisie on Saturday night when I was playing trivia. She went to Sideward by herself and sat and drank beer and ate boiled peanuts.
There you go.
That's pretty
a
party.
that's an old lady thing.
That's
to do.
party, though. If you're
you drank
drinking
beer and ate boiled peanuts by yourself,
I mean, it's party. I think it's just as,
that's what an old man does.
it's just as party as going to a kid resort with a wave pool and sitting
Yeah,
around.
or me and my
I think
friends
it's
were
more-
doing drugs.
I think it's more party.
Drugs. Anyway.
What drugs? If you were doing legal
Yeah,
marijuana, that's not drugs. If you were
okay.
doing ecstasy,
well, it used to be
now
drugs.
we're partying.
Anyway, so did you guys see that they booted old Drew Brees from
No.
the doing his sort of the TV stuff?
I thought that was going to be his thing.
Nope, fired. Because he stinks at it.
Oh.
And a bunch of people have always like in the stuff that I listen to. They just talk ass about how bad Drew Brees is, and I've seen every time I've seen him, he's boring and he adds nothing. Not like a Tony Romo. But my question to you guys, because
I did not see that. That's shocking to me.
anytime this happens, I'm always like, who thought he was going to do like a super good job? You know what I'm saying? Did he show them some sort of side of his personality and then he didn't do it on the TV?
No, it's probably just an assumption.
They just
I think it's just the name, right?
they
Yeah.
just thought they thought like maybe he could like kick it into gear because they must
It's
have
the same reason we all assume that Brady will do great when he decides to do this, right? We don't wait. I've never really seen the guys. I mean, minus maybe his show, but I don't really count that. I've never seen him do like color or analyst type work. So I can't say how he'll do, but I think it would be short-sighted and naive to assume that he's going to hit it out of the park. I mean, I think he will prepare more than anybody because that's him, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's going to be a home run.
So it's like because I imagine with how Tony Romo does such a good job, and
He's likable though.
But I imagine people around that industry that know him and people in that media like have probably talked to him and like, oh, this guy's got a good personality. Like we can tell if someone's going to be good on the show or not within a certain not 100%, but it's like, oh, this guy's got a good personality. He's a good talker.
Like Kenny,
right?
who comes in here. Like Kenny can roll with anything.
Yeah, and it's like, and there's certain, so with Drew Brees, it's weird that they would, it seems like they set him up for failure or they just said, let's give it a shot. And if either he's going to rise to the occasion or not. I don't know. I feel like with doing that kind of stuff, you're just either have it or you don't. Like you're not getting better at it, especially since he,
Romo's
just
always
started.
had a good personality, right?
That's what I'm saying.
He's always had a good personality.
That's what I'm saying. Like it was an obvious, like oh, this guy's
Shaquille
good.
O'Neal has
Yes.
always had a good personality.
Charles Barkley.
Has always had a good personality.
Yeah. Michael Jordan. That's why probably he doesn't want to do it, but like Michael Jordan would not be good at that.
No, he's not.
Scottie Pippen would not be good at it. Charles Barkley.
He's the guy.
So
You're right.
It's weird that they even put him up for this for 1 year and fired him to me because I'm like, didn't they know?
I like your theory because your theory, maybe I can help you with this, is your theory that you can look, I think that we could all, as professional broadcasters or presenters, let's just say, we can look at most, I'll just say most so it's not definitive, we can look at most sports stars and A or B, we can tell you if A, yes, they would be good at doing color or analyst, or B, no, they would not be good. Like, it's cut and dry. It's not like you're saying, it's not like, oh, he'll get enough reps and then eventually he'll be good at it. We can look at him and go, A or B, like Reggie Miller. He's good at it. Steph Curry. I don't know. I'm a little on the fence. I don't like the way he talks in the Subway commercials and on Holy Moly. I say no. I think you can look at
on
each
Holy
person.
Moly is a little awkward.
He's stiff.
He's stiff
I think
and
you can
awkward,
look at him and tell, like sports people, you can look at him and tell, oh, this guy'd be good.
Yeah.
I think it's cut. I think it's like instant. You either know or no, or yes, they're good at it. No, they're bad at it.
So, and the only reason I bring it up because I'm confused by it. It's like no one. I never saw Drew Brees ever like do something prior or when he was playing to be like, oh, that guy would be good on TV after. Then they gave him this TV job. Then they fired him after 1 year because he was horrible, which I would assume he would be,
right?
Even based on his conversations prior to even get this job. So then I'm like, well, why'd they do that?
Yeah.
Why'd they even do it?
And then there's surprising people that are good that I like that do it. And I can't really think of a sports star right now, but I can think of a couple coaches that
Travis
I didn't think would be good.
He's being kind of groomed to do that because they are having him on more shows and more stuff.
Jimmy Johnson's naturally good at it. I'd say old, what's his name? Tony Dungy's naturally good at it. And that's the one I wouldn't have thought is good. I'd be like, old Dungy drags his ass out. He's good. He's good at it. Yeah.
And so, anyway, it's always weird when they invest a bunch of time and money.
Tony Gonzalez is good.
Yeah.
He's natural because they're all more fun. Like Tony Romo is naturally just more fun than Drew Brees. Drew Brees is not fun.
But didn't they know it going in? They knew it.
But
right?
we goof on you a lot here saying that you don't like fun, right? That's like the thing.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd be good in doing this type of job?
No, because I'm not good at that.
You're a good performer.
You're a good
You'd
performer.
be good at it.
Okay, yeah. With my reps, I could probably
get a lot of information wrong, but you'd be entertaining.
Yeah,
he would be entertaining. He'd be fun.
Yeah.
I'd be better than Drew Brees. But
a lot better.
Yeah, but that's obvious just based on my experience. But that's why I'm like, how is it not obvious to them? Or is it like they gave him a shot?
Well,
because
it seems like he wanted to actually call games. He did not really want to do like the game analyst thing. And so maybe he thought, hey, I'll do this for a year and then maybe they'll let me call games or something because they both mutually split.
Gotcha.
He didn't initially want to do this job. He wanted to call games.
So I wonder if they just tried to shoehorn him in.
Calling games is really hard, though.
Yeah.
Calling games is harder, I think, than being an analyst, right?
Yeah, you're live.
Yeah, and maybe for him, he thought it was, I don't know. I mean, he's been around football his entire life, so, like, you could speak on it, but you have to have a personality.
Why do you need to do anything? Just go away.
Yeah, retire. Enjoy your family.
Yeah, just go.
Still young, I guess, people say retire, but, like, these guys are in their 40s. Like, like, I got more work to do.
Full families. Raise your children.
Yeah,
Nah,
but they got
I haven't
nanny-
done that.
they're
And
rich.
it's not fun. It's not fun.
Yeah. It's like there's only so much, and especially when your kids, I saw it this weekend, when your kids get to a certain age, they start being more interested in their friends.
Oh, for sure.
And you stop having to do, you're not doing that as much, So like if you got, I know Brees has got a bunch of kids, but I mean, they're all past 10 years old. There's not much for you to do.
Yeah.
You go to their games and things, but like, your maids and nannies and all that stuff, they're doing a lot of the work associated with the kids. And then besides from going to game, like there's a lot of downtime.
Do you see that? Somebody in our Twitch chat room, twitch.tv/Comedy and Live, if you would like to join us every day live, Monday through Friday. EMH82 says, Drew tweeted 15 hours ago that he is undecided, may work for NBC, may play football again.
Well, he said a lot of things. That wasn't the full tweet. He says, despite speculation from the media about my future this fall, I'm currently undecided. I may work for NBC. I may play football again. I may focus on business and philanthropy.
Play
I may
football.
train for the pickleball tour,
Play
senior
football.
golf tour, coach my kids,
No,
or
football.
all of the
Football
above.
be
Bring
awesome.
it back, Drew.
Yeah.
Bring it back. Come on to the Falcons. We'll take you, buddy.
Yeah.
Saints to Falcons. It's never been done.
Yeah. I mean,
Come on back.
he's got to be better than a rookie, right? Just from his knowledge and
100%.
And he can still, like, I know he couldn't throw with his broken ass ribs, but now with a year and some, like, he's completely healed.
Come
Maybe
on back.
He'd get back into shape. Like, he
Yeah.
can do it, right?
Yeah, just do it. We'll prop
You
you
know,
up
he
there
was-
like we did the Undertaker in WWE. We'll prop you up until your legs fall off.
He was one of the most accurate quarterbacks.
Yeah.
He still got that,
Yeah,
right? He's
yeah, it's still in there.
he's better than Jameis Winston,
You
right?
get stem cells, you pump yourself
Yeah.
out, you get in there like Brady, you eat a couple strawberries, start winging them.
Yeah. All right. Bye-bye.